Hello, guys. Welcome to the next part of my Godzilla-thon. Godzilla vs. Hedorah, aka Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. Arguably the weirdest of all the Godzilla films, and notable for being Haru Nakajima's penultimate performance as Godzilla. This movie was directed by Yoshimitsu Banu, who sadly passed away this past year, and centers around this pollution based monster named Hedorah, who's just a mass of sludge and other biomass. And it's theorized that he came from another galaxy as an organism that was a hitchhiker on a meteor or something. I kind of wonder because in the next film, the aliens from Space Hunter Nebula M say they left their planet because of the pollution. Could Hedorah, the Hedorah organism, have been what destroyed those aliens' home planet? Just throwing that out there. The movie centers around a kid and his father who's a scientist. At the beginning, he's playing with some Godzilla toys. This friend of the family, I think he is, shows up, and then a fisherman who brings a specimen for his father to study. The father goes to investigate because fish are dying. His son comes with him too, and his son actually encounters Hedorah first. And when the Hedorah tadpole jumps out of the water, the son holds his knife up and it slices the Hedorah down the center. Now, when I first seen this scene when I was a kid, later on when Hedorah starts spewing the toxic gases, I actually thought it was from the kid slicing him open. But the father gets attacked underwater, and even though he lives, there is this very off-putting, just nervous, just uncomfortable scene after the kid encounters Hedorah, where he's nervously and helpfully calling for his father, and there's just something unsettling about that scene. Hedorah first makes landfall when this one character's at a nightclub, and this guy was obviously drugged out of his mind. He's hallucinating everyone has fish heads. Hedorah comes up to absorb the toxic gases from smokestacks. Him and Godzilla fight for the first time. And it gets weird because there's animated scenes cut in. Like the next day, some of the main characters are at the fight scene and they're taking Hedorah samples. There are just odd animated scenes, and there's even one scene where Hedorah flies into a building that's under construction. The sound cuts off and you just see the building silently disintegrate. They allude very early on to how deadly Hedorah can be because the father gets severely scarred from his encounter. Like, this whole side of his face is like a charcoal gray. And the press is there, and he's like, no, let the cameras focus on my face. I want people to see how serious the situation is. And later on, Hedorah's toxic gases get so toxic they reduce people to skeletons. This monster is very memorable, and he has such an apocalyptic feel to him, because if the problem were to get too out of control, his toxic gases alone could destroy the planet. This film is kind of an environmental PSA and is pretty preachy about it at times. That being said, I still think Yoshimitsu Banu delivered one of the most memorable Godzilla movies, if nothing else for how weird it is. He meant for there to be a sequel, but Tomiyuki Tanaka was the producer was so disappointed with this that they didn't make it in the next film. The next one was Godzilla vs. Gigan. Something else notable about this, the suit actor to play Hedorah went by a different name then, but he would later change his name to Kent Satsuma. Kent Satsuma would go on to play Godzilla from 1984 to 1995 Godzilla vs. Destroy Us. So we literally have the best Godzilla suit actor of all time training his successor. Yeah, a few other actors would play Godzilla from Megalon on up to Terror of Mechagodzilla, but none of them come close to being Nakajima's successor. That position went to Kent Satsuma, and Nakajima went out of his way to mentor the young actor. He liked working with him, and the next year with Godzilla vs. Gigan, Satsuma was eager to play Gigan and work with Nakajima again. They ultimately figure out in this film that for some reason the electricity can dry out and kill Hedorah, so Godzilla fights, and he ends up having to hit the giant electrodes with his atomic breath. He fries Hedorah, then reaches in and grabs these white orb things out, and he fries them with the electricity by hitting the electrodes with his atomic breath. I don't know what those orbs are, but I kind of feel like this is my fan theory. They're somehow connected to Hedorah's regenerative ability because he's just totally massacred after this. Hedorah goes to fly off, and we get the infamous Godzilla flying scene where he uses his atomic breath as jet propulsion. He flies him back to the electrodes, hits them again, then he just rips Hedorah to shreds and dries him to dust. There's also a scene where Hedorah attacks these hippies in a bonfire at night. And again, he kills most of them. There's no probably to it. This is the most gruesome of all the Showa films. Like, you see people turn to skeletons. You see people get hit with the sludge and instantly die. The toxic gas kill them. So this isn't the most kid-friendly of the Godzilla films. But despite how weird it is, I enjoy it. Is it one of the best? No, but it's far from being one of the worst. Godzilla vs. Hedorah. Check it out, see it, and buy it. Next time is Godzilla vs. Gigan. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Feel free to dislike. I'll talk to you later. Bye.